Okay, I guess we shall call this deliberation meeting for the hiring of a city manager to order. And I guess we'll be looking eventually here for a motion and for a top one candidate and an alternate. And I guess we can just open it up for deliberations at this point for the council, and can all, how do you want to?
Maybe if you would want to just kind of talk a little bit about the feedback that you received from both the staff and the community panel. Share kind of some of your observations just so that the public is aware.
Okay.
Explain who else participated in this interview and.
All right. Well, I can speak to the evaluations that the council just recently received. We had 3 panels today. We had a community member panel, which was made up of Paul Watan, John Amundson, Cheryl Coons, and we had, let's see, Cheryl, Paul Watan, Brian Herman, and Shane Munson. Those 5 individuals made up the community member panel. And I think what we could do is just touch on some of the highlights here from the community panel. And my interpretation of the feedback that I'm seeing is the majority of them felt that Rebecca Schrump probably surfaced to the top there, and Holly being right next to that, and some right out said they didn't think that Kathy had the qualifications. So, council, you want to add any comments to that you're seeing? Am I interpreting that correctly, or you want me to read the responses verbatim, Patrick, or?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
That's necessary. If they want the information, I think they come. I see what you see on that. I see in the and obviously we're talking about the community member, which is important to me because that's who's really going to be dealing with the person out there, and also all of us are members of the community also. So that's exactly what I see there too, Kevin.
You know, the one positive that got brought up a lot in this, I'm gonna hit all 3, right? So with Kathy, between the community and we'll get to it in a little bit, but with the staff as well, was very passionate, right? Very passionate about Morris, very passionate about what the college specifically did for her and her family. With Holly, it's a lot about experience and a lot about, infrastructure and, some of the engineering background and some of the things that she's done in her past, whether it be engineering and whatnot. And with Rebecca, it's very much a, very similar situation, very similar, job to what she's doing right now, right? And that's what I take away a lot from, if I'm looking at the positives of all 3.
From the community panel,
Yep.
Yeah, observations, sure. Yeah, and I guess one thing that I like with regards to Holly, just one thing that kind of stood out for me is, and she does have a unique set of experiences, but her experience with cities and counties I thought was kind of unique, and more or less set her apart because she's worked on with both entities, counties and cities. So I thought that was kind of a plus, at least for her, to that standpoint. And that was one of the comments that was made by the community panel as well. Jeff?
I feel pretty firmly on Rebecca being my top candidate. Everything I heard and saw from her just seemed like a similar community. She's been there, the stability. It's just all the jobs she's been at. I've been there for a while. I guess looking at the feedback, I agreed with most everything that was said also. With Holly, it looks like she's just been hopping around, and to me, seems like she's probably following, and when part of our questioning of her was the hopping around, and that just scares me. So I guess out of that, I guess Kathy, is she coming here for the right reasons or to follow? And more, so she has a lot of passion for different things from when her son went to college here, but I guess I would definitely have Rebecca as my top choice, which I think it looks like we have out of both of our different groups, and the other two I really tossed back and forth, but I'd have to put Kathy before Holly on my list, just based on seeing where Holly has been 6 months to a year at most of her previous employments, where she's just been hopping around, and I just am looking for some stability for the city of Morse and our new leader.
I guess I'll speak to it too. Initially I didn't rate either of them, any three of them before this, but in my mind, I did have Rebecca as my number one. Just everything that, through her interview, I did take some notes about some of the things she said, and the other two I didn't. I just thought that she had the experience of the city, you know, working where she did. Just reading the comments from both the staff and the community, it really kind of just everything that I thought also, the feedback I got from her and the feedback I got from these just solidifies it in my mind that she's my number one. I would slate Holly as my two, only because it's very close, because I do love Kathy's passion for the city, but I'm just the type that needs a little more experience with that passion for some of that stuff. So I would say one Rebecca, two Holly.
I agree with everything that's been said so far. I think one of the most impactful things for me about my number one candidate is coming from the staff side of it, and I don't know who wrote it, but I appreciate the comment. It says, "Don't let this one get away." Right? To me, that speaks volumes, right? Because the staff is the individuals that are going to deal with this person on a daily basis, and that speaks volumes to me. Right, so I agree. I would have Becca as my number one candidate. The number two for me is a little bit more difficult to come up with and decide. I think there's positives to both. Like I said, Kathy, I think it's her passion and some of the different things that she spoke about, right? I think she talked about updating and working in the community and trying to bring in some vibrance and things of that nature, right? I think that's a good thing. She spoke about that during ours, right? Updating the city website. I think that's a good thing. Holly has some of the experience, right? Some of both public and private, and that's the positive as well. I think the deciding factor for me, would be that Holly, I don't know that she would move here. I think that'd be the biggest deterrent for me.
And you didn't really come out and say it, but just my reading of what she told us.
No.
And moving and following, yeah, I
can't-
find it hard to have somebody lead our community that's not living here.
And I can't blame her, right? Her husband has a
Yeah.
very good job as a
Yeah.
superintendent in Underwood. I can't blame her. I think that would make it difficult. You know,
Did she come right out and say she wouldn't move here though?
No.
No,
I didn't
No.
think I heard that either.
no,
Nope.
and I just said that.
Nobody asked
But
either.
she's been
Nope.
following, and I don't think technically it was
It's-
something we could ask.
It's
No.
not a requirement of
No.
the
no,
job.
No,
you don't
it's
have
not.
to.
No, I
So-
just,
But in involvement with our Main
well, I think
Street-
the reason why I asked is because I think somebody made that comment in here that she's
In
not
the
willing to
staff
move.
one, under comments that would be helpful, doesn't seem like she would move here.
Yeah, and that's why I brought that up, and
Yep.
I guess I never heard her indicate that, that's
Nope.
why I thought I'd clarify that.
Nope.
Well, I think, in putting I'll just kind of let you know where my top 1 and 2 and 3 landed, and I actually had Holly as number 1, number 2 was Rebecca, and number 3 was Kathy. I agree with everybody, what they said with Rebecca interviewed very well. I thought she did a good job, and she is representing a city very similar in size to us. I just felt that I look at the experience that Holly brings to the table as more of a positive than a negative. I know Jeff has made comment that she, moved around quite a bit, but I actually look at that as more of a benefit than a negative, is in my view. So that's why I ranked Holly just ahead of Rebecca. They were close, though, within a couple points. And Kathy, there was something there that I just felt she slipped up in a couple areas during the interview. But her passion for the city, I understand that too. She has a tie here with her son, and so that's how my ranking ended up. Holly 1, Rebecca 2, and Kathy 3. So
Now, have discussion. Does the council need to have a unanimous vote on the
I don't believe so. Isn't it just,
administrator? Is there more discussion that can help the mayor to put Becca at number 1?
does it have to be unanimous?
It does not.
We can just put it to a vote. I mean, those three had Rebecca as one, and we're not that far apart.
Yeah.
We're not going to split hairs here. So I mean, if that's what I guess my comment is, and my position is, I'll support what the council wants. If that's what the council feels, I'll support that. The majority have Rebecca as one. I'm fine with that. So that's my
so
position
we
as
just
the
need to
mayor.
bring forth a motion?
We need a motion that's going to stipulate who the first
Yes.
and the alternate is. So the alternate, the reason why we do that is if for some reason we're unable to reach agreement with the first candidate, we don't need to come back to a council meeting, but we can simply, decide that it's not going any further and we can move into having negotiations with the second candidate.
So I think that's more of our bigger sticking point is who the
Alternate
Two
is,
will be-
who the second would be.
And hopefully it doesn't come down to really being a big deal, because hopefully we figured out with one, but to have a process so that we don't have to come back to figure it out now when we're all here, to move forward on that.
Zach, can you clarify what was your second choice?
To me, my second choice right now was Kathy, but if I'm being 100% honest, they both would be, it'd be a coin flip for me.
I'm close.
Yeah.
I'm other than just Holly, like you say, just a ton of experience
Yes.
and well-rounded. She's been on the different spots, Wilmer, the different Pine City, the different things, Mille Lacs County, I think is very valuable. She's bored, or the one place where she was doing 3 or 4 different things got to be an overload when we were communicating with her. But, I can,
And part of the deal, and someone pointed it out in there, again, it was a staff comment, but concerned that she's not currently employed or doesn't have current employment on her resume, right? And has had several jobs and none of them long-term, right? So if that's a determining factor, I could be swayed pretty easily to move Holly slightly above.
and I would agree with you on that. I guess looking back at some of those things, I mean, obviously, Kevin, if you've got Holly as your number 1 choice, you think fairly highly of her.
I do think
And
very
you
highly.
had her as your second choice.
I did.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I have no problem with making Holly my second choice on
Same.
having Rebecca as a first choice.
Yeah, if you think of all her experience, I mean, she's public work, she's done administrative work, she's held HR, type jobs, and so, I mean, to find a person like that that's got all those experiences rolled in there, it's
And
tough.
who knows if her husband could be following her. I mean, if he can find employment up here or somewhere close to here, there's a good chance if she has a good job that he may follow her if that comes to be her choice.
Yeah, I think she's explained basically why she's moved sometimes is because she followed her husband, so maybe they have reached that point, and we certainly can't make that decision for
Yeah.
her, but
Oh, it'd be a tough decision. You have to do what's best for the family and children, and
she said her son was coming to school in Morris next year, didn't
that's
she?
confidential. Yes.
I was not.
Oh, she did.
Hopefully her son's not watching this.
No, I'm pretty sure he's not.
It's open.
Well, I will make a motion to have Rebecca Schrupp as our number one choice and Holly Wilson to be our number two choice for the city manager position.
Okay,
I'll second that.
we have a motion and a second. I guess, we can do, we'll just do a roll call. Patrick, you wanna just ask each individual how they wanna vote on that?
Jeff,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Mayor Wallers is a yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd just like to state that I'm very happy with the staff and the community people that came in and gave us their honest feedback and quite frankly, for the last 3-4 years, I've been a little afraid of this process. I knew it was coming and thank you to Patrick and their company because it's really went well, I thought. And I thought we had 3 very great candidates today. And you guys put a lot of thought into what you put down on the paper here, and it's actually really satisfying as a council member to read something and see exactly what you saw. I mean, live in the same community, kind of, all been here. So I consider myself a community member too, and I think, even staff, you're community members also. So, I looked at that and I'm like, poof, wow, okay, I guess I was really close. So I just wanted to thank everybody and the employees and that participated. It really means a lot, and I think it shows our community that, we're dedicated to finding somebody that's going to really push us forward and do a good job. So thank you very much.
I'd agree with what Brian just said, to thanking all the members, the department heads, the community for the input. And it's amazing to have that many different people to come up with basically the same results as we picked out our 3 finalists when Kevin and I, Stacy, and the wild woman back there, Whit, we sat and as how are we ever going to agree on the same 3? And when we came up with the 3, we all picked out the same top 3 in a little different order, maybe somewhere along the line, but we came together with that. And sitting here, I think everyone pretty much very close all the way through on things. Some of the little things that deciding factors, but ultimately our number one choice, I think, for the vast majority of us, was the one that hopefully is our new city manager. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess, I'd just like to ditto Jeff's, comments, the city staffs, Whitney and Stacy and Jeff and I, we've been plowing at this for the last couple of months, and it is refreshing, to see that we're gonna have a candidate, and we now have a city manager that's gonna hit the ground running. And that's what our goal was, I think, initially. We did wanna lean more on experience for the candidate and the next person to lead our city, and there'll be a transition period for sure, but I think, any one of the 3 would have hit the ground running, and I'm excited to work with Rebecca. I think she'll do a fine job, or however this shakes out, so.
Great.
Well done, Patrick.
Well, thank you. You've been a great, the hiring committee was great to work with. I appreciate Whitney and Stacy for working with us as well. There's only so much I can do not being here, but the 2 of them have been great in working through that. So I think that you've got a great candidate, and I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the city. The fact that you have what you do have going here is a very positive reflection. I think that the city of Morris is a unique city and offers a lot of opportunity and some exciting projects for a city manager. So keep up the good work.
All right.
One
Just so
more.
pardon?
One more thing that we do have to do is then we have to authorize the negotiations committee. to go ahead and start.
And that's you, right?
That would be 2 council members and myself. So
Oh.
basically, the council members will give kind of direction and set the parameters, and then I will kind of go between, talking with
Okay,
Becca or Holly and working towards a proposed, agreement that will be put on a future council meeting, the
Okay.
upcoming council meeting, so it'll be presented there. Hopefully, we'll have everything squared away by that time. That's our
Okay.
goal.
so do I have any,
I'll make a motion to, what do we, put together the negotiation team of 2 council members and Patrick to negotiate on behalf of the city with our potential city manager, Rebecca.
select those 2 individuals now then?
Yeah, it'd be Kevin Wallers, Mayor Wallers, and Jeff Miller.
Thank you. I was thinking we could have spread the love a little bit, don't you, Jeff?
Yep, no,
You're not feeling left out?
Not spreading the love, okay.
you asked.
By all means, I'll accept.
Yeah, let's continue on and.
Need a second, I suppose we need a second.
With that, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Carried.
With the goal to have it hopefully back so we can vote on it at our meeting on the 13th, as that's our next meeting date.
Yep.
Yes.
So to have results so we can get it on our agenda by Friday.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Patrick, what do you need, anything that we made notes on?
So if you have notes, yes, if you would leave that, I will take it. If you want to leave everything, I will go through and figure out what has notes on it. and
I'm just gonna give you my
discuss
whole
it.
packet.
So, and then if I could just have a meeting after this meeting with just, the 2 of you.
Yep.
And then,
I'm gonna save my council members.
Stacy or me, whoever,
Somewhere.
or both or whatever, just to talk about it.
Straight to the Legion.
All right. Any further discussion before I close the deliberation meeting? Hearing none. Meeting adjourned.